humanity. Keep watching The Politics every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity.
Imagine a media platform that reshapes the conversation, empowers your voice, and redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative.
Welcome to Talking Politics. My name is Robert Press. I'm a reporter, as you can see by my official New York City press card. I'm a little under the weather today, so please excuse me. I write for the Bronx Post and the Parkchester Times. Both like this show. I'm part of Parrot Media Corporation. I also contribute to the Co-op City News and have a blog at www.100%.blogspot.com. And Facebook page is 100% and what is going on in your community board. The views expressed on this show are that of the host, any guest, or anyone commenting on the bottom of the screen, and not necessarily that of Parrot Media Corporation. Let's go to the weather report. Today, a high in the mid-40s with continuing rain into Saturday, where the high will be around 50. Sunday, it gets into the mid-50s and the weather warmer, and the warmer weather returns on Monday, possibly getting into the upper 60s. Now, President Donald Trump has basically talking to China, where the premier of China has hung up on him because China has reciprocated with their tariffs. But President Trump announced that the U.S. and Iran will make major steps forward by holding direct talks Saturday. Those would be the first such talks in several years, but Iran responded that the two countries will have indirect talks in Oman that day, the New York Times said. But after Mr. Trump spoke on Monday, 3 Iranian officials said Ayatollah Khamenei has shifted his position to potentially allow direct talks if the indirect talks go well. As I said, President Trump has raised his import tariffs from China to 125%, while simultaneously pausing many of the other tariffs that he has placed on other nations. That sent the stock market surging yesterday after a tumultuous week on Wall Street. But there was big drop. That was Wednesday that the stock market surged. Yesterday's stock market came back about a third of Wednesday's gains. Today, the market at the morning at 10 a.m., the Dow was down 283 points. But at about 10 minutes ago, it was down only 35 points. This is a roller coaster ride on the market, and its most moves, that normally the market goes about 0.5% a day, according to my financial expert, Mr. Anthony Ravecchio, who could not come on the show because he's doing taxes right now, as tax season ends on the 15th. But he said that during this tumultuous period, it's a 4 to 7 point change in the market volume in the market per day, which is called a volatile market. So hang on to your 401ks, he says. As far as the pause goes, Trump has had a 90-day pause on much of his sweeping tariffs plan that have provided some temporary relief, like I said, for the stock market. The tariffs created the Wall Street gyrations, and the market swings took place as Hochul and state lawmakers are trying to finalize the state budget, which is now more than a week late. Trump's decision to set aside some of the tariffs led to the quick upturn on Wall Street, but uncertainty could still create problems for New York finances. There is a poll that came out that says Congresswoman Alessandria Ocasio-Cortez is leading Chuck Schumer by double digits in a new head-to-head poll first shared with Politico. The survey from liberal firm Data for Progress found 55% of likely Democratic voters said they supported or leaned towards supporting Ocasio-Cortez, while 36% said they backed or leaned towards Schumer. 9% were undecided. The poll of 2028 of the New York 2028 primary is the latest sign Schumer's standing among Democrats has taken a hit since he voted to advance a Republican funding bill last month to avoid a government shutdown. The fact that Data for Progress conducted and released the poll also underscores that the left-leaning organizations are continuing to look for ways to prod Schumer to take a tougher stance against President Trump. I'm going to have to cut today's program short. So it is unclear if the Schumer-Ocasio-Cortez poll could mean what it could mean for New York, the primary 3 years. However, with surveys, the early rarely being predictions, Ocasio-Cortez has been non-committal about.
Imagine a media platform that reshapes the conversation, empowers your voice, and redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative.
Okay, welcome back. Hopefully I'm a little better. Now, there was a close call involving several members of Congress who were aboard a plane yesterday that was bumped by the wing of another jet in Washington Airport taxiway, and that is under investigation. 6 New York and New Jersey lawmakers were on the plane, including Congressman Richie Torres, who is a Democrat, and Republican Nick Leota. Read into that whatever you want. Hochul's approval rating has gone down. Again, Data for Progress has conducted a survey of 767 likely Democratic primary voters in New York State, where the results from that poll found found that Kathy Hochul, the incumbent governor of New York, leading a potential 2026 Democratic primary field for governor by a wide margin. Hochul received a majority of 51% of the votes, while Richie Torres and Lieutenant Governor Antonio Delgado received 11% and 1 in 4 voters each, and 1 in 4 voters, 26%, said they were undecided. The results show a wide gap in name recognition. Hochul has a 33-plus point favorability rating among Democratic voters in the primary, and only 4% of the voters in New York have not heard of her or offered no opinion, while 63% of the voters haven't heard enough about Delgado. 52% say the same for Torres. These findings demonstrate that the incumbent Hochul has a large lead in the Democratic primary for governor of New York, more than a year and a half ahead of the 2026 primary. However, of the 51%, they say they would vote for Hochul. Just 31% said they would vote for her outright, and 20% said they leaned to Hochul. The New York State Republican State Committee released the following statement as far as the poll went that shows 51% of Democrats want to reelect Kathy Hochul. Even Democrats are fed up with Kathy Hochul when only half of your own party wants you back. It's a flashing red light that your leadership is sinking the state. From rising crime and unaffordable living costs to corruption and chaos in Albany, New York, because across the political spectrum know we can do better. Republicans are energized, united, and building a winning coalition to take back the governor's mansion in 2026. Stop our nation's leading out migration and save New York from disaster of the one-party rule. There has been a problem this year with the state budget. It was due on April 1st. It is now late. It is now April 11th. It is 11 days late. And if we don't come to an agreement next week, the governor said she is prepared to do two things. That she will continue to have emergency extenders until the budget is done. And what that means, of course, is if there is no budget deal, lawmakers will have to stick around the Capitol this month. And during their supposed 18-day Passover break, they will be up at Albany. They also are not getting paid until the spending plan is finalized. The hardball move from Hochul comes after she told reporters she's prepared to stay in Albany until the summer to get what she wants out of the budget. I'm not in any rush. I will stay here as long as it takes to get the budget I believe delivers for New York. As I said last week, there are four major sticking points, and I'm not going to go into them again. It appears that one of the four is approved. The cell phone ban is no problem between lawmakers, the state legislature, the Senate, and the Assembly said they approved that, but it appears that the 80-member Black and Puerto Rican Hispanic Asian caucus is now focusing on one of Hochul's top budget asks, and they're calling her bluff that she'll keep them in Albany over it. The most powerful coalition of state lawmakers is taking a stand against her budget priority in changes to the discovery law. Assembly member Michelle Solgas, chair of the caucus, said, "Don't balance the budget on the backs of Black and brown communities." The caucus, which represents a majority of Democrats in the legislature, says it agrees with Hochul on the city's rising criminal case dismissal rate warrants legislative fixes. DAs Bragg and Clark, the state's District Attorneys Association, and even Mayor Adams contend that the 2019 discovery reforms have led to increased recidivism because prosecutors can't meet the stringent evidence sharing requirements, contributing to the dismissal of more than 20,538 criminal cases citywide in 2023 when compared to 2019. The MTA needs a plan also that has to come out of this budget. The MTA's budget is $68.4 million in its capital plan. It needs to be fully funded. Four House Democrats from New York, Nadler, AOC, Tim Kennedy, and Nydia Velázquez, in a letter to the governor, and top Democrats said Trump's move to rescind the congestion pricing toll has added a new layer of uncertainty over our mass transit infrastructure. Although a deal has been worked out with the Trump administration to extend congestion pricing till at least October of this year, but finding a solution is slow going in Albany. The governors and lawmakers are negotiating ways of raising revenue for the capital plan, including a hike in the payroll mobility tax, a politically tricky option that Republicans could weaponize against the Democrats in next year's state elections. Let's move on to casinos. As we know, Ferry Point Park is being, proposed, and State Senator Fernandez and Assemblyman Benedetto are pushing now state alienation of the parkland there. But the Hudson Yards Casino has moved forward as the deadline nears to win for the Hudson Yards Casino. City Planning Commission approved new zoning for a sprawling casino project on the Western Rail Yards in Manhattan on Wednesday, paving the way for the project to inch a little forward. The zoning must be approved by the City Council, and the project must win one of the new 3 state casino licenses that are going to be awarded at the end of the year. We are not evaluating the merits of a gaming facility at this location, City Planning Chair Dan Garadnik said. That process will be difficult and competitive. It is possible that no casino will be sited at this location. So far, it's certain it will be built, but it's a victory nonetheless after the proposal was met with serious community opposition, especially from the Friends of the High Line. The latest project gets an odds boost in the long road to approval. 11 projects are expected to compete for up to the three state licenses. The state does not have to give 3 licenses. They give 1, 2, or 3. And the other projects are unknown. Applications are due in June, and the projects need to get their zoning and other land use approvals by September 30th. Last month, New York Mets owner Steve Cohen's proposed project, known as Metropolitan Park, got a boost from Queens State Senator John Liu. The project is proposed for parking lots at Citi Field, which are technically state parkland. Liu introduced state legislation to allow a casino to be developed on the parkland, which is necessary for the project to move forward. In exchange, Cohen's team promised to build this elevated path in Liu's Flushing district. Steve and Jim have been convincing and authentic about their desire to be a positive influence in our community, Senator Liu said at the announcement. Liu represents, though, only a little part of the Cohen's project. The vast majority is represented by Queens Senator Jessica Ramos, who is running for mayor, and she opposes the project. I am not in support of this bill, Ramos said on New York One Wednesday. I will not be co-sponsoring it. I will not be voting for it. It should come. If it comes to the floor for a vote. Senator Liu and I are in disagreement on the future of the parcel of land. Another project, as I said, Bally's in the Bronx. Local representatives there have introduced legislation to allow that project to move forward. As I said last week, I felt it was time to put in the alienation bid, but not necessarily to make sure at least Bally's has a chance to go forward in the bill. Assembly member Michael Benedetto told New York One. But it certainly is not an endorsement.
Are you tired of navigating multiple platforms for your real estate needs? Property Rialto connects buyers, sellers, investors, landlords, landowners, realtors, lawyers, and real estate professionals in one seamless platform. Join us on the 10th of April 2025 for our launching event at 12 p.m. New York time. Register for the event with the link in the description. Property Rialto, your gateway to smart real estate deal.
Okay.
Imagine a media platform that reshapes the conversation, empowers your voice, and redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative.
Okay, welcome back. Let's see if I can make it through the rest of the show. Now, continuing, and I'm sorry I missed my commercial there, and my producer put it on and cut me in the middle. So let me finish this. As far as Assemblyman Benedetto, he made his announcement that he was going to alienate the parkland and said that I listened to the community, and it was a little unfortunate that he said it after Assemblywoman Fernandez had made the bill in the Senate to alienate the parkland. So they should have coordinated a little better so Assemblyman Benedetto didn't have egg on his face. Now, as far as the casinos go, it appears that the owners of Saks Fifth Avenue are abandoning their flashy proposal to build a casino atop their flagship Midtown store, becoming the first serious contender to drop out of the competitive race for a downstate casino. Mayor Eric Adams took a dig at former Governor Andrew Cuomo while kicking off a new phase of his plan to crack down on illegal cannabis and vape sales this week. Adams' Operation Padlock to Protect initiative has sealed more than 1,370 unlicensed cannabis stores selling and confiscated $94 million worth of illicit products since its launch in May 2024. Adams faulted Cuomo for the mess he's been cleaning up. Cuomo signed the 2021 legislation that legalized adult use recreational cannabis and created a regulatory and licensing structure for dispensaries that would sell it. The market's notoriously slow rollout is a common scapegoat for the proliferation of unregulated cannabis stores in New York. We had to correct the problem that the previous governor put in place. Adams said during a press conference, we had to fix what he broke. The law has so many loopholes, and we constantly have to fix what impacts that came out of just sending the idealism of making laws and not the realism of enforcing laws on the ground. The NYPD has a new Q team Thursday at the 13th precinct in Manhattan. Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch announced that today is about improving the quality of life for everyday New Yorkers in their neighborhoods, on their blocks, and on their front doors. It's about addressing conditions that have plagued our communities for years and finally having a constant coordinated plan at the local level to do something about it. We're putting together a plan to address illegal parking, abandoned vehicles, homeless encampments, unreasonable noise, out-of-control scooters and e-bikes, open-air drug markets, and more. From 2018 to 2024, complaints about panhandling are up 2,000%. Homeless encampments are up 500%. Illegal parking complaints up 200%. Noise complaints up 100%. New Yorkers are frustrated and they're pleading for our help. With the launch of the New York NYPD's new Quality of Life Division, we are reorganizing the department to address it. Starting on Monday, select officers will be assigned to specialized teams, specialized quality of life teams or Q teams, which will respond to 311 calls and address quality of life conditions in their precinct public housing complexes 7 days a week. They will coordinate with agency partners to resolve these issues efficiently and effectively. Team members have received additional training in the wide range of jobs they'll be handling every day. This is happening in 6 pilot precincts. In the Bronx, it is the 40th precinct. In Brooklyn, the 60th and 75th precincts, and PSA 1, the 101st precinct in Queens, and the 13th precinct, as I said, in Manhattan. After this pilot phase is complete, which no time frame was mentioned, the initiative will expand citywide. The division will have a unified structure led by a new chief of quality of life and control and report directly to the chief of department. Now, the city council has passed a resolution to stand up for New Yorkers, and we intend to do it. Speaker Adams says the resolution, which easily passed, comes after newly installed first deputy mayor Randy Mastro signed a controversial executive order Tuesday to allow immigration and customs enforcement agents, that's ICE, and several other federal agencies to reestablish offices on Rikers Island. For years, ICE worked out of a small facility in the jail's complex to identify undocumented incarcerated people and transfer them for deportation. That is until it was ended in 2014 when the city council passed a sanctuary city law to bar federal immigration authorities from the premises. Mastro said the executive order he executed after doing an independent assessment was that it is only for criminal enforcement and expressly excludes civil matters. The mayor has a charter revision commission. It is 13 people created by Mayor Adams in December. It is currently holding a series of hearings across the city as it works to produce ballot proposals for voters to consider on Election Day. It was supposed to largely center on housing reform, but they're looking at changing the election process. The process they want to do, they want to shift city election to even years to coordinate with the state, federal, and congressional elections, so that you'll have off years where the City Board of Elections will have nothing to do. And I don't want to say anything further on that because I like the people at the Board of Elections. They also want to go into open primaries, which would mean that anybody can vote in any primary. Adams suggested also that he could potentially ask the commission to look at changing the city sanctuary laws, which restricts city agencies from cooperating with federal immigration office. Now, on Tuesday, June 10th, there will be a meeting at Hostos College, C Building, East Academic Center, 450 Grand Concourse, 3rd floor, 5 to 8 p.m. to listen to New Yorkers, specifically Bronxites, about their opinion. You can check my blog at www.100%.blogspot.com on the archive section on the left under the heading Charter Revision Commission for the latest information on the Charter Revision Commission. There are a bunch of elected officials who are supporting former Governor Andrew Cuomo for mayor. Some of them, most of them actually, that I'm going to mention, said that he should resign in 2021, and they are Queens State Senator Toby Ann Stavinsky, Assembly Member Rodney Bichette Hellman, who is the Bronx Democratic Party leader, Brooklyn Councilwoman Farrah Lewis, State Senator James Sanders, Bronx Congressman Richie Torres, Queens Congressman and Democratic leader Gregory Meeks, Senator Joe Abada, and David Weprin. Meanwhile, Ed Bronstein, another Queens Assemblyman, said the governor's resignation ended a difficult and painful chapter in history, and it was in the best interest of New Yorkers. And Cuomo's campaign says they are vindicated by what happened, that there was no charges brought against him. Now, as far as the Bronx Borough President, endorsements are coming out. The Latino Victory Fund is endorsing City Council member Rafael Salamanca for Bronx Borough President in his race against incumbent Vanessa Gibson. Gibson was the first female and first black Bronx Borough President. Salamanca hopes to follow in the footsteps of Latino men who held the office, including Ruben Diaz Jr., Adolfo Carrion Jr., Fernando Ferrer, and Herman Badillo, if you remember some of the latter. It is a rare competitive challenge for first-time BP, and Salamanca is well-funded as the City Council's land use chair. He reported just under $700,000 on hand last month, while Gibson has $428,000. Gibson has the backing of the Bronx Democratic Party and major unions, including 1199, SEIU, and 32BJ has just endorsed her recently. The Bronx population consists of 56.6% Hispanic, while Black and African Americans constitute 28.2%, according to the latest 2022 census information from the Furman Center. The future of New York runs through Latino leadership. The Latino Victory Fund, Catherine Pichardo Erskine, said in a statement, Salamanca is ready to lead with visions, values, and unmatched commitment. And I'm going to end with this final note, after I take a sip of water, that the Bronx Times has reported Bronx Borough President Vanessa Gibson announced on April 7th that her deputy, Janet Puego, has resigned from the post, citing family reasons. The announcement comes after both officials face a lawsuit accusing them, the city and the New York City Economic Development Corporation, of corruption related to the Kingsbridge Armory redevelopment contract, which I told you about last week. Borough President Gibson was named in that lawsuit along with Deputy Borough President Puego. Bronx Times reached out to Gibson's office for comment on Puego's resignation because she is going to a lobbying firm that she was with before, and they are going to be lobbying for the developer who won the bid. And let me end the show here as I'm dying, but I'll be okay next week. Hopefully, I'm getting over this cold, and I'll see you next week here on Talking Politics.
Imagine a media platform that reshapes the conversation, empowers your voice, and redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative.
In a world where the quality of information available to poorer communities is doctored, tainted, and sometimes regressive, where the words fake news have come to mean other people's opinions, it is vital to rely on news platforms with journalists who have feet on the ground and can report the truth. New York Parrot, a New York-based national and global news outlet, is changing the narratives of media operations. We focus on the news that matters, like self-empowerment, entrepreneurship, finances, health, security, politics, and more. We strive to curb violence, racial and economic discrimination, and to promote peace and socio-economic development of multiculturally diverse world. As we give voice to the people, we also give your business a voice and make it heard. Get your products and services off the ground by advertising on our fast-growing platform. With so much of daily visits to New York Parrot, you can't afford to be invisible to prospective clients on the websites they trust the most. Our posts reach millions of people across the New York State and around the world. Advertising on our news site will unlock an audience of thousands of potential customers on your doorstep. New York Parrot is born to prosperously speak tomorrow for the voiceless.